one of our agents, we tried to say, let's try and reason over everything all at once. To be honest with you, it hallucinated quite a bit. We didn't really think it through. It didn't have some of the patterns that we had. And in some sense, that pilot was doomed to fail because we tried to do too much all at once. Because we thought, let's just unleash a Gen AI on this. And then we just started getting wrong answers. So that was one of it. But when we started focusing on one outcome, and that's one of the, and again, when you said why things succeed and why they don't, I think many of them are built with saying, let's bring AI to this problem, as opposed to thinking of the outcome that you want to drive. So the second pilot that we built, we call it the Know Your Customer Agent. This was specifically focused on only the customer data in a way that we said we will empower everyone to be able to see a customer 360 view of everything related to a customer and have that. So in some sense, by doing that, and there's another pattern that I didn't kind of hit on, but a business should understand the outcomes they're trying to drive, and in some sense, understand their entities, their entity kernel. We call it what are the basic set of entities that you think you would want to reason over. So we thought user, device, license, subscription were kind of our core entities. And I'm just, there were more, but I'm just trying to give you a sense of what we thought were the core entities. Now, business should obsess about what their outcome is. So many of the AI pilots, I think, are not outcome driven. They seem to be more like, let's add AI to an existing workflow, which in many, you might want to even question whether workflow should still even exist the way you had designed it. And I think we're not doing enough thinking there. So something that is outcome driven. And I think the other part, and again, now that I'm talking about it, not just from code alone, but in terms of the cultural parts of this, there is so much of a dramatic unlearning that we have to do. We were so used to the BI era and how we conceived of things that we had to rethink and in some sense unlearn. We had done so many years of this phase with BI, and I think the same will apply to the software development lifecycle, and we'll probably talk about that too. But there's a lot of unlearning and relearning that we had to do. We had to undo some of the habits that we had built in the previous era that we had to kind of undo. In many ways, I wish more people would start thinking, and it's a very loosey-goosey one, but I'll still tell you anyway. It's expectations management. You have people at the top, saying, oh my God, we're doing so much with AI, and they're setting the expectation. It is the people on the ground who are building it are struggling to understand how to interpret some of this stuff. It's like, okay, we're adding AI to everything, or we're AI forward, or whatever these things mean. Being able to interpret what that means at the ground requires leaders to start stepping up in a different way, how they manage the expectations of what this can and cannot do in a way that is scaled, repeatable, trustworthy. It's different. It takes some effort. And you know what? And this is what I think why we have all of these POCs that are great party tricks, but never seem to scale beyond it. And so this, in some sense, we got to move from just the hype, but to the ROI and how it's delivered. And that's where outcomes come when we start with reevaluating the workflow.